Hey guys, I just want to say thank you for voting yes on wanting to see the tools I use to draw. And to start off with, I use the Graph Gear 500, and this one is a 0.5 lead pencil. This one I use more for detailed work, line weight, just to tighten the pencils in the drawings that I do. And another one for really small details I use is also the Graph Gear 500. It's a 0.3 as well. And this one's like when you get to like little tiny detail, little tiny drawings, sketches, really thin, tight lines as well. Usually when I do layouts for, let's say comic book pages or layouts, I usually use the Staedtler non-photo blue. You can get these at Michael's. It's good to have an underdrawing layout of how you want the panels to be, or the way you want characters to be under the drawing. And then I usually use, let's start off with the 5H pencil. You can get these in different kinds of brands, but I got these at Michael for a pretty good price. So this is the 5H. It's a hard lead. Hard lead means that it's not as dark. You can do like light drawings underneath just to get like a feel of what you want to draw under a drawing, which is when I bring in the 0.5 Graph Gear to tighten the pencils and put on the lines that I really want to show for the actual drawing. Another good pencil I use for shading for my panels and backgrounds is a F-lead, which is closer to being a softer lead, which means it gets darker compared to the 5H right here. And this one usually used to shade in like areas of shade that later on I ink. It's also really good for texture as well. So yeah, and then another one I really like to use, usually when I start like sketching characters or the feel of the way I want to draw a character on my free time, like when I'm in a rush, I usually use a lead holder, a 2mm lead holder by Mitsubishi. It's a 2H, which is also a softer lead but less than the 5H, which is a 5H here, and this is a 2H, which is a little bit close to the F lead. And I can do a little light, do darker. Usually this one I usually do just a feel of a character. Let's say I'm drawing a face. And I do the outline, where I want the lines to be. There's the midway line for the eyes, there's the nose right here, there's the mouth line. It's the jaw, chin, forehead, the hairline, top of the head. Then I come in, like I said earlier, with the Graph Gear 500. Let's see, I want to make a face on it right here, so follow my guidelines, put the nose here, and usually there's like a shadow here on the nose. Draw like an eyebrow, kind of furrowing to the lips, and then usually like a dimple here in the chin, jawline. There we go. Ears usually go around the top of the eyebrow to the bottom of the nose. And the hairline right here. So he has like a short haircut. And you got some shadow here, because it's away from the light. And let's say he has like a really defined cheeks. You want to do these little shadow lines to show that there's a little dip in here. And you can probably make him smile. There you go. And if you want to go more into detail with like shadow, you can do like a lip shadow. I think it's called a septum. Then if you want to show him like he's angry, you can raise the eyebrow a little bit. And draw the eyes right here. There's shadow under the eye. Looks kind of creepy, but yeah. And usually the lights just coming over here. There's gonna be more shadow on the other side of the face. It's gonna be more like, it's called rim lighting, where it gets darker on one side and there's kind of like a lighter side on the opposite side. yeah, so I'm deviating away from what I meant to post this video, but those are the tools I used to draw. And yeah, it just depends. I use this one for comic book layouts again, and just to get a feel of how I want the panels to be for my pages. Then I go in and do usually either an F, either 2H, or an F for the underdrawings. I want the feel of the characters to be in the panels. Then I usually use an eraser or a kneaded eraser to erase lighten the figures in the page. Then when I have a feel of the characters that I want to draw, I usually use a Graph Gear 500, tighten up the pencils, which in this case, I have an example for you guys. 1 second. In this case, I use my tools here. So as you can see, with my non-photo blue pencil, I usually do like the backgrounds. You can barely see them. And the characters and how I want things to be drawn. Then I usually use like maybe an F, mainly the 5H to get the feel of how I want the characters to move. And then I come in with the Graph Gear and I do more detailed work. You know, I outline the structure of the character, the details where the anatomy goes. And yeah, I just make sure it comes to life and how I want it. And hopefully, seeing the tools I use was helpful. Maybe you guys would like to try out the tools I use. This one I actually got recently. I had it before, but I lost it while I was moving from Calexico to Imperial. And I found it again at Michael's for like about $7, but usually they have coupons online for like 50% off, 40% off, so it saves you a great deal of money. These actually got at Comic-Con, but you can usually get an F lead or 5H lead as well at Michael's, and usually they have a different kind of lead holder. It works the same way. You can get a 2B, I believe, at Michael's. And also these you can get online at JetPens 0.3. It's hard to find these locally, so they'll be best to find online. And these are able to be found at Michael's as well. They're affordable, not too expensive. And lastly, this pencil is actually my favorite. I actually had this one in 5th grade. I lost it a long time ago, but I was able to find it again on Amazon. And this one usually it feels more like a writing pencil. I usually do this to jot down ideas such as like sticky notes, how I want my panels to go and everything. Just a quick, ideas to jot down. So and for pencils, for me, it mainly you can draw with any pencil. You can draw with like let's say a number 2 pencil. You can draw with the usual big lead pencils you can find, 0.7, 0.5. But it just depends, how the feel, if you want your pencil to be in your hand. Like this one, it feels best to use when writing. This one is just like quick sketching, gesture drawing, figure drawing. Life drawing is also good once it's sharpened. Also good for shading, just quick movements. This one feels really good. It's a good weight in my hand. I like the feel of this texture right here. It's a good grip, and it's a 0.3, so it's really good for detailed work when you want to really just pay attention to detail, make sure things are, very much, neat and clean drawing. Same for the 0.5, a little bit thicker lead, but it also, feels good in your hand, and it's more for, like detailed drawings, cross hatching, just putting down the lines that you want. And these is just to help you, same as the 2H I said earlier. This one, it's a millimeter, just to get the feel of the drawing, life drawing, gesture drawing, figure drawing. Same thing, it just depends on what your preference is for pencils. And the F pencil as well is good for shading, quick sketching. And I usually use just any kind of eraser, but the best eraser I recommend is the kneaded eraser. It just doesn't smudge as much, as usual white erasers do, or pink erasers. Kneaded eraser usually picks up most of the graphite, leaves like a light underline drawing, and it's great for you know, you won't lose the drawing you wanted underneath, so it'll still be there. Also, I recommend, I don't know where I left it at the moment, but it's a I think it's called an Archer black eraser. It's made out of foam. It really picks up the graphite well, leaves not that many streaks, and it's very clean. You know, there's not a lot of clumps of erasers left over behind. And that one you can find on JetPens as well. And yeah, it's my first time doing this, and hopefully sharing the tools I use made sense and you guys find it helpful. And soon the next video will be me sharing the Micron pens and inking tools I use to ink my pages or any kind of drawing. So thank you guys.